your memory? How good is your memory? So we know our memory is, you know, what we can remember in our mind. So maybe you have a good memory. You know how to remember lots of details about your life when you were young, or lots of details about your trip, or you're able to look at someone, meet them, and then remember their name. You know, that's a good memory. It means that your mind can store information and that you're able to quickly think of that information and remember it. So we're looking at speaking and reading. We're going to talk about our memories and do some exercise. So let's do them together. We have, as we could see, Nelson. It tells you his name. Nelson Dellis has won the US Memory Championship for the 4th time. Okay, so which things on the list are easy to remember? So are you good at remembering people's names and their faces? Me, sometimes. The face, yeah, the face, yes, but the name, maybe not much. You feel the same? Yeah. Directions and addresses? A little bit. Telephone numbers? No. Because we all have it in our phones. We save the number. We don't think of the number. Dates and facts in history? For me, it depends if I'm interested. You know, like if somebody told me when Japan, you know, independence of Japan, I might not remember it. But if it's more interesting, like date, like when, you know, this war happened, or when something, maybe yes. It just depends. Food on a shopping list? I'm pretty good. Sometimes I can go shopping and not write a list. Yeah, because maybe it's routine. You do it, you know what you're going to cook for dinner. So you have it in your memory. Okay, I need, you know, this.
Yeah.
But if it's maybe if you're going to the markets and you want to buy something new, maybe you forgot.
Right.
The words of a song. Do you like to sing? Yeah, the lyrics, the words in a song. For me, I'm not very good. I mean, I remember the important part of the song. You know, we call it like the main part of the song. Yes, but not all the words. I'm not very good with all the words. Okay, so we have here, we're not going to do number 2 because you don't have your friends to do that with. Let's go to number 3. So, sorry, not number 3 because that's the same from that. I think the next page, only because we don't have enough people to do the topic. Okay, listening. So we looked at the photo and we read this. It just said Nelson Dellis has won the US Memory Championship for the 4th time. That means that this man has gone to a competition and they've tested his memory, and 4 times he has won. So he has a very good memory. So who is the man in the photo? Yeah, Nelson Dellis. Yeah. What has he won? The USA Memory Championship. Has he ever won it before? Yes, because he's won it 4 times. So this is asking, is this his first time or has he won many times? We know, yes, he has won it before. Okay, let's listen to a news report about Nelson Dellis. Remember, Nelson Dellis has a good memory. And we're going to number the topics in the order the reporter mentions them. Okay, so let's listen.
Track 94, Unit 10B.
Do you always forget names and faces? And how many numbers, such as telephone numbers, can you remember? Not many? Well, meet Nelson Dellis. Nelson can listen to the names of 99 people, look at their faces, and memorize every one of them. He can also hear 300 different numbers and then repeat them. Because of his special memory, Nelson has won the USA Memory Championship 4 times. He won the competition in 2011, 2012, 2014, and again in 2015. The USA Memory Championships are like the Olympic Games, but the athletes train their brains and they take different memory tests. So how does Nelson do it? He says he doesn't have a special memory. Like normal people, he's often forgotten names, dates, and numbers. But a few years ago, he studied memory techniques and he practiced for hours and hours and hours every day. Since then, he's won many competitions, and he's taught his techniques to people all over the USA.
Okay, so before we continue, the question asked us, the USA Memory Championships. So we know he has won it for number 6. The first thing that they talked about was B, what he can remember. And we know he can remember names, faces, and numbers. So that's the first thing that he says he can remember: faces, names, and numbers. Then, number 2, they told us about the championship. And they said that he won in 2011, in 2012. So in 2011, 12, 14, and 15. And the last thing they talked about was his technique. So his technique means, like, what did he do so that he could remember things? You remember they said that he practiced for hours and hours. So he practiced. That means that he repeated and repeated and studied and practiced for hours and hours. Okay, we're going to listen again and answer some more questions. So again, this is speaking about Nelson Dellis, who has such a great memory. He won 4 championships. So let's answer these questions. How many new names and faces can he memorize? How many different numbers can he hear and repeat? Which years did he win the US Memory Championship? And which sporting event is the USA Memory Championship similar to? What did he study a few years ago? And how much did he practice? And who does he teach his technique to? Okay, so let's listen one last time and answer
Track
question
94.
7.
Unit 10B.
Do you always forget names and faces? Not many? Well, meet Nelson Dellis. Nelson can listen to the names of 99 people, look at their faces, and memorize every one of them. He can also hear 300 different numbers and then repeat them. Because of his special memory, Nelson has won the USA Memory Championship 4 times. He won the competition in 2011, 2012, 2014, and again in 2015. The USA Memory Championships are like the Olympic Games, but the athletes train their brains and they take different memory tests. So how does Nelson do it? He says he doesn't have a special memory. Like normal people, he's often forgotten names, dates, and numbers. But a few years ago, he studied memory techniques and he practiced for hours and hours and hours every day. Since then, he's won many competitions and he's taught his techniques to people all over the US.
The USA. Okay, so how many new names and faces can he memorize? 99. Good. How many different numbers can he hear and repeat? 300. Which years did he win the US Memory Championship? Yep. 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 Yeah, perfect. And which sporting event is the US Memory Championship similar to? The Olympics. So this event that he was in is the same as the Olympics. The Olympics where you see all sports. What did he study a few years ago? Memory technique. So he learned how can he make his memory better. So technique just means like tips. You know, what can I do to make it better, like improve? And how much did he practice? Hours and hours and hours, yes. And who does he teach his technique to? People all over the USA. So he teaches it to everyone. Okay, to have a good memory, you have to practice hours and hours. That's what we've learned from listening to this audio about Nelson Dellis, about how good is your memory.